DocumentCloud. And I'm just going to briefly kind of kick off about some project or organizational management things. I think, and then we'll hand off to Chris to kind of dive into most of the fun stuff. So you both have MuckRock accounts. Your MuckRock account lets you log into DocumentCloud, MuckRock, our filing tool, as well as a variety of other sort of journalism and transparency focused tools. One account that gets you access to all of that. And you can kind of manage sort of your profile at accounts.muckrock.com. When you go to sign in to DocumentCloud, it'll kick you to this page so that MuckRock is kind of the parent organization and DocumentCloud is one of the tools we run. I believe you're both freelancers or independent journalists. If you are working with an organization, you can, from your account, on the left-hand side, they'll say view all organizations, and you can kind of search for, if you're partnering with somebody or working with somebody, you can kind of look them up here. Let me just, Boston Globe. I used to work for the Boston Globe, so you can go there, and then on that organization page, click request to join, and then they can approve you if you're working there. And a lot of times people, if you're as a freelancer and kind of contributing to a bunch of different news organizations, you can join a number of different organizations at one time, and in the individual services, swap which organization is active or just keep on using your individual account. And Chris will talk a little bit more about that when he's demoing DocumentCloud itself. If you are starting your own organization or you're kind of running a project, you can just click create a new organization and just put in the new organization's name, and then you'll have that organization associated with your account. That shouldn't, like if you're doing a book project, I wouldn't recommend an organization for a book project, but if you're doing sort of some ongoing collaboration, even if it's not officially an organization, but you've got other people you're working with, or you want to keep that distinct, the organization can be useful there. And then when you have a chance, it might be worth checking out some of the other tools and seeing if they're helpful. We have MuckRock, DocumentCloud, but also FOIA Machine, which is another FOIA tracking service. Big Local News, which has access to a lot of data that might be useful to local journalists, and Agenda Watch, which helps monitor public meetings around the country. And we are working on adding other fun new partner services in the future. If you need to change your password or anything like that, you can just click Edit Profile, and then you can either edit your email, edit password, or just update your username and how that's displayed. If you aren't happy with your current username, your display name, add an avatar, and a few other settings. Those are all handled at accounts.muckrock.com. And then DocumentCloud has a few individual service settings. So I think that's all the main things here. Most of DocumentCloud is completely free for journalists. We do verify journalists to make sure that people are vetting and sort of not uploading false material or uploading copyrighted books or something to our service. But most of DocumentCloud is free. We do have a few services, including some AI functionality, where it's like everything from better search tools so that can extract text from older documents, as an example, as well as sort of like using sort of like AI summarization. Those are part of a paid plan, and you can explore the payment plans and subscribe from the edit plans and payment page. Or if you set up an organization, organizations also have their own plan types as well. All right. So I think with that, any questions about the account stuff? This is the boring stuff. All right, then I will hand off to Chris for the interesting bits.
All right. Hey, everybody. So I'm going to share that desktop. Everybody is seeing new DocumentCloud, yes?
Yes.
Back over here. Good. All right.
Yeah.
you're not seeing code for new document cloud, which is what I have on my other desktop. All right. So this is the new document cloud. We wanted to show this to you all. And I want to take some time and ask, have you all talk about what you expect to be using document cloud for? It sounds like some of you haven't actually used it yet. And just make sure that we are building this to what people need. This
Could you
is
just make it full
document.
screen?
I can screen. It's a very large monitor, so
Thanks.
that look good. That look okay for everybody. So Document Cloud has been around for a long time. This is a pretty complete rebuild of the front end. And so we are hoping to get this out the door and make this the version that everybody sees first week of December. So I'm going to walk you through what the major parts of it are, and then I want to leave lots of time for questions and to talk to all of you about how you're using it. So we're going to start here. When you first load Document Cloud, if you're signed in, this is where it's going to send you. This is, I'm looking at my documents. This is everything I've uploaded, public and private. So this is the search view. This will scroll forever, so it'll just keep walking back through your through all your uploads as far as it goes. I'm not going to scroll through all of mine because I have a lot. You can use this to search. Search MuckRock. And so this will it'll search both the title, the text. It'll search we index all the text that's in PDFs. This is actually one of the main things that Document Cloud can help you out with is taking a bunch of documents and being able to search across them. And it'll highlight pages. So if you click on this, it'll actually take you straight to that page. I'm going to jump back and keep doing search results. So I can also just look at my public documents, just my private documents, just MuckRock staff documents, or everything. This is like the full fire hose of everything that everyone has uploaded that I can see. So it's all of my private stuff, but also everything that's public. When there's a big news event, I actually often come to this and just look to see who's uploading, various politicians who have been indicted, Supreme Court decisions, anything that when there's like a big document in the news, it usually shows up here pretty quickly. And so I'll come and see what is what's coming in. I don't think there's anything really exciting today, but you never know. It's early. Other things that you can do here, and I want to talk about this global nav too, because this will follow you around the site. Anywhere you're on, any page you're on, you should see this nav. I'm signed into my MuckRock account or with my MuckRock organization. Michael talked a bit about organizations. I have a couple different organizations. So Homicide Watch DC is a site that I used to run with my wife. So I can switch to that. And this is all the documents that we can see. This is Homicide Watch's documents. If I switch to David McKee's research methods, I'll get another set. I'm actually going to switch back to my staff account. And so this is if you have an organization that has a pro account, you can switch to that and you can use run premium add-ons. You can use their verification. So that's a useful thing to know how to do especially if you're in more than one organization. If you're a freelancer, that's going to come up. Stuff here is like my account settings. This is actually going to kick me back to accounts. If I want to create an email address to upload to, I can do that. I'm not going to do that right now. I can sign out, which I'm not going to do. I can switch languages. I've been working on this actually today. And then here's all of our help stuff. We do have, when you sign on to the site if you forget half the stuff I've told you, which I wouldn't blame you for because I'm going to throw a lot at you. We have this guided tour here, and this will actually take you around the site. And you can look at it and it'll highlight some of our stuff. You don't need that because I'm giving you a guided tour though. Last thing here is this feedback button. Anytime you run into something that is a little weird or you don't understand, send us a comment. You can report a bug, you can ask a question. You can also just tell us that you like something, and that's cool too. We're happy to have positive feedback. You can do it anonymously. Although if you don't mind putting your email in, then I can at least follow up with you and ask more questions. Speaking of questions, anybody have a question up to this point?
I'm good.
Cool. All right. So let's get to the exciting stuff. Let's upload something. So this is the uploader. You can upload in a couple of ways. You can drag and drop something into here. You can hit this select files button. Also, if you just copy something off your desktop, you can paste it onto here. Any of those will work. I'm going to upload just this document that I keep uploading, which is a set of Instant Pot cooking times. Real exciting, easy document. I can set this to be any access level, so private, organization, public. I can add it to a project. I can tell, so when I set language, that's telling the OCR engine and also our search index what language the document is in. It's not going to translate your document for you. It's just going to tell you, it tells the machinery behind the scenes what language this document is in. I can set the OCR engine. So Textract is, so Tesseract is the default OCR engine. It's free, it's open source, it's been around forever. It's pretty good. Textract is an Amazon product. It's much nicer. You need a premium account to use it. I'm just going to use Textract. And also, a lot of PDFs have the text already embedded in them, and it actually won't run it. We actually don't OCR those if we can just extract text from them. You can force OCR, which just means that we ignore the embedded text and we run optical character recognition on it regardless, and we embed that text. This is useful if you have something that like looks like it has text embedded, but it's actually junk. It's great for handwriting. It's worth doing sometimes. So I'm going to upload this. So it's done. So I'm going to jump right to the viewer. So this document actually might still be processing, but you can read it right away. We do a lot in the background, but we want to make this available to you as soon as you can. So just at a basic level, I can read it. I can scan through it. I can select the text. If it's done processing, I can read the text. It might not be yet. Give this a refresh. So there, it's done. So we extract the text, we can store that separately. This is how we index it for search. We also extract each page as an image. This is a good way if you want to just scan it, like visually scan a document, especially if it's something that's long, and say, oh, I know there's a chart on page 9 or whatever. I can just go, or like in this case, I want to jump to the page on vegetables. If I have any notes, they'll show up in this tab. I don't have any notes here. But this is basically the reading mode. Any questions up to there? No, good. All right. I'm going to keep going. I am going to edit the metadata on this document. I'm going to fix this title, just make it a little nicer. Take out these hyphens. And I'm gonna hide it from search engines. Why not? And I'm just gonna save this and it'll update in place. I think I also want to reprocess it and I'm gonna force OCR just to see what happens. Just take a second. Oops. What's that while it's going? Um, Other things I can do. If I want to just download the original file, I can. This is actually just going to kick me over to the PDF that we store on S3. So you can just save it. We're actually using the same rendering engine as your browser does now. Other things I can do. I can share this so I can embed it. That's weird. I'm just going to screenshot that because I don't like how that looks. Save that for feedback. If I want to share just the link to this, I can copy that link. And that'll actually just go right there. If I want to share just one page, I don't know why this is rendering weird. I can do that. And this will actually take me to the page, which I'm just on page one. If I have any notes, I could embed notes. But that's one of the main things that people use DocumentCloud for is uploading and then embedding. And so that's how you get this. So you can do that from within the document. Trying to think what else is worth showing here. Let's get into annotation and redaction. So this is once I have a document and I want to either share it with my colleagues or I want to publish it, I might want to add notes to it. In this case, I'm going to, let's say, I'm going to add a page on, I'm going to add a note on just going to highlight where to put beans for my organization because everyone in MuckRock needs to know cooking times for beans. I'll save this. So I'm done. So now that will show up in the notes section. So I could just link straight to that. I can also just share that note, and that'll get me the iframe for that note. Or I can share a link straight to that. If I had more notes in here, they would show up here. I can also edit this note. So I use this a lot. I find that when I get primary source documents, the first thing I end up doing with them is just writing lots of little notes to myself. You can make your notes private, you can make them public, you can make them open to your organization. I tend to keep a lot of notes for myself and then slowly make them more public as I go. But this is also a good way to tell a story. And I'll show you at the end of this a project I did a long time ago where we just told an entire story with annotation. Other things we can do. I'm going to add this to a project. So add this to test project. So now anybody who's using this test project, even if it's just me, can find this document. I'm going to add some data, tag food. So tags are one kind of data you can add to a document. You can also add things that are more specific. So I'm going to say add a tag called device. Um, and so this gives me a couple different ways to organize my documents. So if I have other things that are tagged food, which I don't, other than this one, might not be indexed yet. Um, or Instant Pot or with the device of Instant Pot, they will show up there. I just don't know why they're not yet. Hmm. Um, that one's showing up. So that's another way you can organize your stuff. I'm trying to think what else. You can add sections to a document. So I'm just going to add a section here. So now if I want to, I can just jump to that section. Um, so as you use this more, you will figure out sort of a workflow that works for you and what parts of this you need in order to keep yourself organized. A lot of people use DocumentCloud just for their own stuff, and a lot of people use it for publishing, and a lot of people use it for things in between. So people use different parts of the tool set that we have, and it really varies from user to user. So the big thing that I would encourage you to do is play around with it, try things out, and sort of see what makes sense to you. What else is there? I think that's it on this page. Does anyone have any questions up to now?
Maybe you mentioned this, but like in the tags, if you
Mhm.
start typing, will there be like if there's somebody's already tagged something, will it show up or am I
Yeah,
like
so
reading it?
if it's already on this document, but not like across documents. So like if I wanted to add a tag, so the keys will pre-populate, um, but the values will not. And part of that is because we don't totally know the universe that you want to search across.
Mhm.
So I don't know how many tags we have in the whole system, but it's probably in the millions.
Yeah, right.
Um, but across your projects, you might have a smaller set. So that's a little tricky. So we don't totally know what universe to search across.
Okay.
Um, so that's something that what I always encourage teams is make sure you're talking about how you're organizing your documents. It's like solve it within your team first and then figure out a technical solution to it. But I really like for this actually for things like where you want to keep a more controlled set of tags using key value and not using just tags because you can set those to to be a more limited set of options and you can add more than one. So like um, I don't know, like location is another thing that like I put in a lot. If you're just having if you had a bunch of documents that were across a geographic area and you said I want to tag anything that's by yeah, I want to tag the city, the state, the whatever, but I also want to just add any location that's mentioned. I'm just going to write in a location field, and you can
Okay.
sort of narrow your field that way. Does that answer your question?
Yep. Yep.
Cool.
Thanks.
Yeah. Um, all right. Any other questions on the viewer before I move on? Okay. I'm going to jump back here. And I'm going to jump into projects. So projects are one of the main ways that people organize documents, um, documents and collaborators. And that's sort of the key thing that projects have. So I can add tags to a document to organize it. I can add key value data to a document to organize it. But I can't necessarily let anyone else see it based on the tag. Projects let you both organize your documents and organize the people who can see them. So these are all of my projects. I have a lot. These are everything that is shared with me. So other people's projects that they've added me to. And then this is public projects. So this is anything that people haven't made private. The name of it is searchable. I can't necessarily see what's in it. So this project might have more documents in it. This is the only one that's public, so this is the only one I can see. And that's an important thing to think about with projects is that you can make them public, but that doesn't necessarily affect the documents that are in them. So be thoughtful about what you make public, but also keep in mind that the document's access setting is what ultimately determines whether people can see it. So I'm going to go back to one of my projects. Example documents. So this is a set of documents that I've just been gathering as we've been doing this, just to show some of what DocumentCloud can do. And there's a lot, and they're sort of all over the place. I'm going to pull up. So actually, before I pull up the document, a couple things about this. I can search within this. So here are two documents that mention Biden. I can bulk edit these. So if I want to come down here, I can edit the metadata for all these. I'm not going to. I can add tags and data to all of these in bulk. I could delete them. I can reprocess them. Sharing, you can actually only do on one document at a time. But I can embed this whole project. So I'll show you that in a second. Second load. So this is, if I wanted to share, just embed every document in this project, I can do that. I can link to this, and I can just copy the embed code. And then this is what it'll look like. With projects, there aren't many embed options. It's really just, I'm going to show you this list of documents. Like other things, it will infinite scroll. So you are functionally embedding everything in this project. Yeah. Trying to think what else. I can delete it. I'm not going to. I can edit the metadata for the project. So if I wanted to make this private, I could. I'm not going to. It is pinned. So this is, and then and then let me show you also collaborators. So this is the really powerful thing about collaborators is I've got all these people that I've invited. Everybody in this project happens to be in my organization, but if I wanted to say invite Loretta to this project, I could. So I can invite somebody, I can add your email address, and I can give you access to this project. I can make you a viewer, which just means you can see everything in it. I can let you edit, which means you can edit the documents, or I can make you an admin, which means you can invite other people. I can also edit collaborators. So I'm just going to make Amanda an editor. And that kicks her down here. I'll make her an admin again. I can't edit myself. I can also kick people out, so I can kick Dylan out. I'm not going to because I like Dylan. But this is, we use this a lot when we collaborate with other news organizations. We will create a project, we'll invite everybody into it, and then it doesn't matter who's a part of which organization, they can all see this set of documents as long as everything goes into it. And I can spend time in here and I can upload straight to that. If I hit the upload button, it's going to take me, it's going to pre-fill this example documents. It's going to pre-fill the project, and any documents that I add are going to go into that project. Any questions on that?
I think so.
And if you think of questions later that are something we've already covered, I'm happy to go back. Yeah, I think that's it for projects. Let's talk about add-ons. So I'm going to jump over here. So this is add-ons are a fairly new thing in DocumentCloud. Add-ons let you do things to one or more documents that really it's a way of using the DocumentCloud API, which is very powerful, without having to write any code. So Sunyan actually writes a lot of our add-ons and has probably spent the most time with the add-on system of anybody. There's a ton of stuff you can do. And what it tends to be is people have things that they might have done using the DocumentCloud API. And instead of writing a one-off script and just having it, for themselves, they package it up into an add-on, and then they can run it in the UI, run it in the browser, and it actually runs in GitHub Actions, and so it runs on somebody else's computer. It can take as much time as it needs, within reason, and you have access to a lot more tools, and other people can use it too. So there's a lot of add-ons available. I'm just going to show you the ones I have pinned. So these are some of the ones that I use a lot. Scraper is sort of the popular one. It will go to a site, find all the PDFs, and download them and add them to your account. If you need to download everything from, say, your state Supreme Court or your local school district or your city council agendas, like this is your tool. Like you can run it. You can run it on a schedule. So I'll show you some of the options here. So you can pick a site, you can add it to a project, and if this project doesn't exist, it'll be created. You can push them to IPFS or Filecoin, which keeps them available, I guess, forever. It keeps them not just on our servers, it puts them out into distributed file storage. You can add keywords that you're looking for. Crawl depth is how many links it'll follow. Access level is what the access level of the documents are going to be. And then a Slack webhook, if you have your personal Slack set up to, you can have it notify you in Slack when it runs. And then you can have it run just once, or you can have it run every hour, or daily or weekly. One of the things that we'll do is we store sort of a fingerprint of the file, and if we've seen that file before, we won't re-download it, so you don't end up with a bunch of copies of the same document. I think I have one of these running on the Supreme Court website once a week, and it just grabs everything. It's a really useful tool. In fact, you can see all of my runs. Oh, I don't have anything scheduled right now. For a while I did. There's more instructions here. Get to that. Other ones that are good. PDF exporter. If you just want to download a bunch of your documents, you can do that. What's another good one?
That's talking about Klaxon.
Yeah, I have mixed feelings about Klaxon right now. So Klaxon is a thing that we pulled over from we took over from the Marshall project. It's a monitoring system. It does not actually create any documents. It lets you watch a site. Let's see. Yeah, here's the screen for it. So it lets you watch a site and it will alert you if something has changed. So it's sort of like it's like the scraper. It works in sort of the same way, except that it doesn't download things. It just sends you an email if a uh, if the site you're looking at has changed, and you can narrow it to a selector. So in this case, open this site. It's actually searching just this.
Hmm.
Let's see if I can
So,
find
so
one.
for Klaxon, it has a bookmarklet, which allows you to select which portion of the page you want to monitor as well.
Yeah.
If you read the instructions, it goes through that.
Yeah. So this is the bookmarklet. If I click it, it'll actually open it on this page. So you have to drag it up to your bookmarks bar like that.
And then when you visit a page, you click on the bookmarklet and it'll
Yeah.
do a little overview.
So yeah, there's a lot in here. Bad redactions is another good one. This will find any redactions in your documents that are not actually like burned into the page that it can see through, which is happens more often than you would think. Um, and it will unredact them, or it can actually redact them. So if it's something that you meant to have redacted, it'll do that. Yeah, there's a lot in here. We have a bunch of new AI add-ons, which I haven't even played with, to be honest. Um, Analysis is useful, all the sort of bulk actions that you can do, different ways to export. Extraction is more like getting things out of your documents, um, things working with files, and then monitoring. So there's a lot here. Add-ons are sort of their own whole world. And what I would encourage you to do is try out the rest of DocumentCloud, figure out sort of what you're doing, and then as you have needs, say, I wish I could, find all my export all my notes from this set of documents. Go and see if there's an add-on to do it, or message us on Slack, and we might be able to write you one. This is actually this is, yeah, tagging. There is one that I was thinking of that extracts all your notes. I can't remember what it's called. Any questions on add-ons?
Note exporter, probably.
Oh, that's probably it. Yeah. I think Dylan wrote this one, didn't he? Or
Originally,
did you write
yes.
it? Yeah. So yeah, our colleague Dylan, who does a lot of who's on our editorial team, he's used this to just grab all of his notes out of a document and dump them into a file. It's really useful. All right. I think is that the whole thing? Have I shown you everything? We're at quarter till, so I want to make sure there's plenty of time for questions, and for you all to talk about some of the things you might use this for. So I'm going to open the floor.
Chris, I might have missed this. Did you go over the plain text view for documents?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So this is the text we extract. This is also the text that we index for search. And here's notes, pages. Who has questions?
So my question is not so specific to what you've shown us, but I'm curious to know, do you have if you were to point me to a project that you thought used DocumentCloud well, and could, sort of deconstruct, so I can sort of see like the deconstruction of how they might have used it. Do you have anything like that in mind? Or
Yeah, so let me show you a couple of things. I'm going to go into this example documents, and I am going to find a very old project of mine from like the first version of Document Cloud. So this was one. So it's getting to ancient history now. Back in 2010, UK election happened, and the conservatives and the Tories and the Liberal Democrats had to form a coalition government, and they came up with this agreement. And I was working at PBS NewsHour at the time, and I did not understand British politics well enough to say anything interesting about it. And almost nobody in our office did, except our managing editor, who was actually British and had covered British politics for a long time. So I had him go through and annotate this document. I said, just highlight anything that is interesting to you and write some notes on it. Explain it to me like I'm a dumb American who doesn't understand British politics. And he did that all the way through. And so we added this. So this was our story. Like we wrote a story around it, but we said, go through and read this. And like, this will explain to you what's happening. And like, I still go back to this because I find it really fascinating because it's this time capsule of what was happening in the world. This is the this is the sentence that broke British politics. So this is set the 5-year fixed term parliament.
So these notes here, below, so there's the sentence, but then the notes are.
Yeah, so the note is all of this.
Huge.
So
Okay,
yeah,
right.
so like he gave it a title. I might have written these titles.
Yeah.
But he sort of grabbed what was interesting and then wrote out like, here's why this matters. So let's see if I can find another one.
I'm gonna drop 3 links to some of our partners' projects from our recent Gateway Grants projects, including 2 from journalism newsrooms and 1 from an academic institution that you might find interesting to explore as well.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Just open. Sundin, you want to tell us about this one?
Which one? The first
Just
one?
what am I looking at?
Hold on. I'm seeing your camera, sorry. I jumped out of view. Yeah, so this is open by default. This took in documents from like the public request system in Canada and indexed them. And so these are all documents that they put onto DocumentCloud, and they've built like this front end layer in order to help them search throughout this document set. And if you click on each document, it'll bring up the actual raw document. All the documents are also what is known as OCR'd, so they're text searchable. This is one example of a journalism collaboration we had with IJF, and they have something like 40,000 documents. So you can search actual raw text, and it'll search across the 40,000 documents. You can search by any given year. You can order by different values there as well. You can filter by which organization the documents came from. So focused on public records request materials from Canada. The other one that I linked to, Centro de Periodismo Investigativo, is this is called Buscador. They had 2 different sites that basically had lawsuit materials for pension reform in Puerto Rico. which comprised something like 50,000 documents. And they wanted to make these documents actually searchable for the general public. So in a collaboration with the MuckRock team, we scraped both of those websites, all of the documents, uploaded them to DocumentCloud, made sure that they had good OCR applied so that it could be text searchable. And then we created this search tool together, which allows you to kind of explore these different important lawsuits relating to pension reform and kind of almost like a shadow government. It's called the Fiscal Control Board, which sets policies in Puerto Rico, even though they're unelected. So yeah, that's what Buscador is. And then the third one that I've linked to is Unredacted. Unredacted is based out of the UK. It takes national security related documents, things related to the war on terror, and organizes it into these like historical collections that you can search across everything from the war in Iraq to Afghanistan and beyond. And you can actually, if you click on See All Documents, you'll look at the search tool as well. You can look at the guide, and then this is the search tool that they built as well. So you can search through the full text, or you can search by the metadata. So they've included both into their search field here. Yeah, this was built all on top of the DocumentCloud API as well. So these are like really advanced projects, but yeah, just to give an idea of what's possible with DocumentCloud and what different folks do. And this is an academic collaboration. This is not a journalism institution. It's an academic that led this project and seeking to kind of preserve these historically important and at-risk documents.
And I'll show you just a much smaller project that is just sort of my own one of my own personal side projects, but I've been just using the tools that we have. So this is something that I've been a story that I'm working on about a submission grappling event that happened over the summer, and I did some FOIA requests around it because their venue was part of University of Nevada, Las Vegas. And so I've been using it just to collect my documents into a project. So I've got 13 different documents in here that I've grabbed. And then I've written a bunch of notes just on each part of anything that I needed for my reporting. I just wrote a note for it. And these are all public notes. But this really helped me sort of organize my reporting as I was trying to write a story of like where is this number that I need that is in one of these 13 documents.
Right.
Like it's all of these documents are basically either contracts or tables of numbers. So like just having a way to highlight things and be like, yes, this fact that I need is right here, and I can link to it for my story, and also I can find it again later. Like if I didn't have DocumentCloud, I would be printing these out and doing the same thing with a highlighter.
Right.
But this is much better.
Yeah.
There are some fantastic stories of investigative reporters working on whole book projects, putting together their fact-checking spreadsheet because each annotation has a unique URL. And so being able to do that cross-referencing so that they can get back to where in the documents, like exactly what page, exactly what section does this exist at. And so just building out that fact-checking spreadsheet is a really powerful resource.
What other questions do we have?
think I have any more questions. I'm going to be uploading a bunch of documents to, and when I run into a roadblock, who do I call?
So a couple things. Great question. You can join the MuckRock Slack. We have a public tech channel, and we have a public FOIA help channel. That's a good place. Where else should people find us?
That's good
Just
enough.
take a look at these.
Slack's good enough.
Yeah.
Slacks are most
Um,
immediate. You can also send us a support ticket if you need to like include a lot of detail. info@muckrock.com. That also gets into our support queue. But Slack's probably our most immediate response for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. If what you're looking for is like, hey, I have this thing and I'm not quite sure how to do it, or what might I look for in this document, come on Slack, because there are more people that are not just in our organization that can help you. It's also a good place if you're saying, I want to request this sort of data, but I don't exactly know how to phrase this request or where to look for it. Our Slack is a good place to sort of talk that out with people.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I'm also going to plug our guides and manuals, which kind of goes over not only Document Cloud, but also MuckRock and also like account permissions and then changing things on your account, kind of guides to that, as well as our YouTube channel, which has our FOIA Friday series, our Document Cloud orientations in the past, and other instructional videos that will be published in the future. Yeah.
Great. Thank you. Oh, I noticed you're doing this like once a month. Are you doing essentially the same thing every month, or for
That's
the
the
next?
plan. Yeah. We're trying to make these just a regular thing so that people can put it on the calendar and know it's coming, and we get more chances to talk to people about how they're using it. Like, it's good for us and it's good for hopefully for everybody.
Although I will add, as you can see, there's maybe you can't tell that we have 4 staff and 2 participants in the training, but there's definitely space to ask questions and kind of make space for questions in the second half if you want to come back because something is confusing.
Okay.
Right. I'm going to stop sharing. Any other questions before we stop the recording?
I'm good.
Sanyan, you want to go ahead and cut us?
Yep.